Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to RWBY Ice Queendom Episode 12, titled Best Day Ever. Defeating the nightmare and released from the dream, Team RWBY and Team Juniper resumed their school life. The teammates had opened their hearts to each other more than before. Along with Osborne, Shion, who is going to set out on another adventure, watches over the students who were growing up. Experiencing that building a relationship of trust with her friends leads to power, RWBY decides to do her best as leader, and Yang supports her younger sister's decision. Meanwhile, Weiss and Blake promise to accept each other as teammates. The girls had deepened their bonds with their friends, and together they set out on their way to becoming a huntsman. So, this is the last episode of this show. And as I said last episode, this is, given the title and for what I've heard, this is covering the start of Volume 2. So, all of the actual Ice Queendom plot is done. This is just a lighthearted capstone on this story. Also, if my face looks shiny at any point in this recording, it's currently midnight and still 25 degrees. I've got two down lights right above me, a lamp in front of me, a desktop, a powerful desktop, two computers, in a closed room with no ventilation. I am sweating, so yeah, if my face looks shiny, that is why. But let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. Sure, that's what they did. She ended up joining in anyway. What, no dramatic stand on a chair and point? I played your game, you read my books. That seems like a fair trade. Cream and 5 sugars. Even I think that's a little bit excessive with the amount of sugar. Hmm. So we are getting an explanation. Says you have a strong aura. So originally hers was just scrying with emotions, but eventually it evolved into. And as it stands, only one of these 8 has grown to match her ability in semblance, that being Ren. And interestingly, it's a fairly similar basis for their semblances. Do emotional semblances just have a quicker growth rate than the others, or? I mean, one will never meet her, but Shion Zayden. That name probably means something. Is this going to be the discussion about what led you to the docks? Or is it going to be continuing on with the what happened in Weiss's head? No blinding flash of light. The power of friendship. Okay, so Shion is a like lilac, lavender color, so that matches her color scheme. I thought maybe they gave us the last name because that was the actual color, but no. I'm gonna have to. Did they go through an art style change? I thought a little when we got the top down look at RWBY, but. bonus. He always knew. Carden, his entire team. This seems a little more inquisitive. Not inquisitive, that's too light a word, but seems a little more accusatory than he did in the original show. Well, that depends. Is it a parent's wife thing or? I forgot how dramatic Volume 1 was. Honestly, when I saw the pancakes, thought that was going to be Nora. Well, never explicitly said. That was a little mean. I too would be over there bothering the cats. Hmm. Here we go. Technically, it's not her food. Friends, sisters, wives. Is that my binder? I am not a cook. They kept that in. Where did A food fight's a tradition? Oh, poor Jean. I get aiming back at Nora, but she she went straight for Jean. I still want to know why there's a fucking swordfish in this school, but are you even getting Salem in this? I thought we were going to actually see Salem in this style, but well, after the last episode, I gotta check the. Okay, there's nothing after the. Well, that was as expected, just a very light-hearted ending to the season. Was it entirely as related to the best day ever as I was expecting? But they did add more context surrounding scenes that we got. Plus, there was the whole discussion on the rooftop with Sun and that. All of the Team Juniper stuff. Shion. I've already forgotten how to spell her last name. Zayden. I was close, but trivia, color naming rule. The name Shion is the Japanese word for a hue of purple. It is also the Japanese word for the Aster tataricus, which are violet blue or blue flowers with golden center. Okay. Absolutely nothing. Huh. There's nothing about her last name. Shion is the only character to have different pronouns in the English and Japanese dubs. On the official Japanese website, Shion is referred to with male pronouns, whereas Rooster Teeth treats Shion as non-binary. I got a different read from them, but okay. Non-binary. I apologize for every time I've referred to them as female. Okay. I really thought there was going to be some trivia with the last name, and that is why they waited so long into the show to say it. Um, hmm. Interesting. Well, and again, this being a Japanese production, Zayden may well be. Now, because they haven't done that with anything else. Like, they didn't switch to using family names to refer to the other characters, so doubt that it may have been just a addressing full name using first name in the final discussion. So, no, maybe it's just a bit of character detail that wasn't necessary but was put in place to further expand the character, further flesh them out. Which, okay. But yeah, that was a very light-hearted episode. As I said, the tones of scenes were different, though that may have been a translation difference, because that does happen. Sometimes the tones of sentences, the ways they interpret phrases and everything are completely different between two cultures, even if they're saying the exact same words in the exact same way. So, while it seemed more accusatory from Ozpin towards Blake in this than it did in the original show, it just may have been a translation thing. Or more, it was a translation thing to the people who then animated this in a more intense light than the original show, which worked with the more intense wording from Ozpin that was in this show. Is what I meant. But yeah. Was not, honestly, though I did ask in earlier reactions, how exactly did Shion discover their semblance, and like, how do you learn that you can send people into other people's dreams to extract this Grim that uses them as a host? And then we actually got it, like, and not just a throwaway line like with Nora's, oh, I was struck by lightning. Crazy Thursday. But, yeah, they actually said initially I could just read people's emotions. I could see the good in them, I could see the bad of the, they showed a little scrying crystal related to their semblance, and then they encountered the nightmare for the first time, and suddenly the semblance awoke. Like, it evolved into allowing them to further help people in relation to this specific Grim. Almost like they were born to help people for this specific Grim. Interesting. But I wonder. So this is its own timeline. I've already discussed that because different art styles are always assumed to be different timelines anyway, unless explicitly stated not, like how you can have a manga version of the same character going through the exact same events, but two different worlds. But I assume this, then there was all the discrepancies between scenes in this and the original show. Do you think maybe in the final battle of the show, if we ever do actually get there, like we'll need volume 10 to be greenlit and then any subsequent volumes after that, do you think they could bring Shion back? Like, they didn't show. Obviously, being a huntsman, they'd have some combat capabilities. They said they went to Beacon and everything, so you'd think they'd be well trained in combat. But do you think maybe we get a cameo, like a flash through all of the. Maybe at the very end after everything's done, just a flash to all of the characters that we've seen? Sort of like how My Hero Academia is doing at the moment, how in its current arc, which is the final one, they had snippets in the panels of characters that were introduced in the movies. And those movies have always been questionably canon. And then they're just like, hey, we're going to put a snippet here. These characters exist. We're not giving any context as to whether this canonizes fully or not. It's just there's a version of them that exists in this. Maybe the same, may not. Do you reckon we could get something like that with Shion in the main show? Or are they relegated purely to this show? Yeah. I scrolled down to the comments of the episode just because I was trying to do something to keep my mind focused. And this comment reminded me that they did take some of the better lines out of the food fight. Well, they got rid of Ruby's "I am not a crook" line when she's accused of stealing the binder. But there is no justice will be swift, justice will be painful, it will be delicious. Yeah. Instead, they made it so that this food fight is apparently a tradition at Beacon, and Ty also apparently engaged in this, so. Huh. I mean, to be fair, what we know about Team Stark, they would fully commit to a food fight just like Ruby and Juniper did, but. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here. I thoroughly enjoyed this show, a lot more than I thought I would. And I do hope they do more stuff like this in the future. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll catch you in the next one.